Class, estate plan week 12, getting close to the end. Hope you're doing good, hope you're feeling good, and keep up the good work. A couple reminders: keep working on your Millionaire Next Door book report. Any makeup work, please let me know if there's something that you would like to make up or would like to work on trying to find opportunities to earn extra points to boost your grade. I'm willing to help and make things happen. Continue looking for opportunities to do extra credit every week on the discussion boards, and that can make a big difference. Let's get into the estate plan spreadsheet. The reason why the estate plan spreadsheet's in here is due to estate tax. So the estate tax is for when you pass, and if you're married, once the last surviving member of the estate has passed, and the estate is now going to be turned over to beneficiaries, to heirs, there is an estate tax, and the tax is 40% of the estate value minus the estate tax exemption. And the exemption is an important piece of this puzzle, so let's get talking about that. So at the moment, the estate tax exemption is $11.4 million per individual. So if you're married, it's $22.8 million. And so you'd have to have an estate in excess of $22.8 million for a married couple to pay any estate tax. If you're single, $11.4 million. So anything below $11.4 million, you would have to pay 40% tax on that. In this scenario, we're talking currently, there's not much, but if we get down to the forecast, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, we start looking at the tax. So in the first 10 years with an estate of $500,000, don't owe anything. $2 million, don't owe anything. $4 million, don't owe anything. $8 million, don't owe anything. But what I wanted to show you is that just a couple years ago, the exemption was only $5.45 million per individual. So in this case, in an estate of $8 million, we could exempt 5.45 of the 8 million, and then we're taxed on the difference. So that would leave us with a tax bill of $1.02 million. Now we put in the 11.4, then we won't owe anything because we would be in the negative. And so that would be nice. In this scenario, we doubled it again over the next 10 years to 16 million. 11.4 we would owe. Now, a couple years ago, that $16 million estate, if we were taxing it at 5.45, we would have a tax bill of $4.22 million. And I live in a very ag-focused community, and it's not uncommon for farmers to have pretty significant estates, especially once land value started to get over $10,000 an acre, because you could have was deemed a good but probably smaller sized farmer that had 1,000 acres, 10,000 an acre just in his land. He was worth $10 million, and that doesn't count any other assets, homes, equipment. So just the land itself was worth $10 million. If you had a 2,000 acre farm, you're 20 million plus any other assets you've accumulated. And so around here, yeah, the estate tax was definitely relevant. But now, once the estate tax exemption is 11.4, 22.8 for a married couple, it starts making a real difference, especially if we look back, the year 2000 to like 2012, the estate tax exemption was only $675,000 per person for an individual. So in this scenario, single $60 million estate, you would have had a $6.13 million tax liability for the estate tax. And even if you were married, and we got the 675, $1.35 million if you were married. I mean, $5.86 million is what you would owe in estate tax. And so if you were an heir or a beneficiary, what happened a lot of the time is in order to pay the estate tax, like in an ag, if you were, inheriting farmland and things like that, they would have to sell a big chunk of the farm just to pay estate tax. And that was super, super lousy for a lot of families because the land was such a great asset and what they needed to continue operating and providing. So life insurance is a big piece of estate planning to try to get life insurance to cover a majority, if not all, of the tax liability. So you would get a $5-6 million life insurance policy on mom and dad so that when they passed, those life insurance dollars could be used to pay the estate tax, and that way you could keep all 16 million of the farm or what other assets or business that you were taking over and inheriting, that you didn't have to sell substantial assets just to pay Uncle Sam, because that's the worst. But now that it's not $675,000, it's not 5.45, but it's 11.4. It's a big difference, and less people fall into that category. Now down here in the spreadsheet's talking more about dependents, what your posterity would look like, how are you going to share and divide your assets, who are your beneficiaries, how are you going to work that, if you were to pass away with minor children, who is going to be the designated guardian, and then legal documentation. We're going to talk about wills, letter of last instruction, trusts, things here. So this is all an area where you can add that info. It's good. It's good to know. It's good to understand and be educated on the estate plan, the estate tax. So have a great week. Keep up the good work.